The world sells more honey than bees are physically capable of producing. That math has never added up. Investigators estimate that roughly a third of honey on international shelves is adulterated, diluted, or outright fake. Honey ranks among the 3 most counterfeited foods on Earth, alongside olive oil and saffron. The fraud works because real honey is absurdly slow to make. A single bee produces about 1/12 of a teaspoon in her entire lifetime. Your jar of 500 grams took visits to over 2 million flowers. So how does fake honey actually get made? Why is it so hard to catch? And what can you check on your own jar tonight without a laboratory? Honey is old. Cave paintings in Spain dated to 8,000 years ago show humans climbing rock faces to reach wild hives. For most of recorded history, honey was not a luxury. It was the only concentrated sweetener available. Egyptians sealed tombs with it. Romans taxed it by weight. Greeks fermented it into mead, one of the oldest alcoholic drinks ever recorded. Then in the 1700s, cheap refined sugar from Caribbean plantations flooded European markets. Overnight, honey went from essential to optional. It became a premium pantry item, something you choose on purpose rather than rely on by default. That shift created the problem that still affects every jar you buy today. Once a food becomes premium, it attracts people who want to sell it without doing the work of making it. Honey fraud is not a modern invention. In the 1800s, vendors were already cutting honey with flour paste and starch syrup. If you had bought a jar in 1850, you might have gotten the same scam. The playbook has not changed in 2 centuries. Only the chemistry got better at fooling you. And once global trade made it possible to harvest honey in one country, process it in another, relabel it, and sell it in a third, tracing origin became nearly impossible. When tracing fails, fraud scales. So how do you catch a fake that looks, pours, and tastes like the real thing? You cannot. Not with your tongue, not with your eyes. That is the whole problem. So investigators had to build tools that see what you cannot. What followed is a decades-long cat-and-mouse game between laboratories and fraudsters. And the fraudsters keep finding ways to win. Round 1. Pollen. Real honey carries microscopic pollen grains from the flowers bees visited. Under a microscope, those grains work like a passport stamp. They reveal the region, the flower type, sometimes the season. For years, this was the primary weapon. Check the pollen, check the origin, it worked. So fraudsters adapted. They started forcing honey through ultrafine filters at high pressure, stripping every grain until the sample was geographically blank. No pollen, no passport, no trail. Round 2. Carbon fingerprints. Flowers and corn absorb sunlight differently, and that difference leaves a chemical stamp in anything made from them. Honey from flower nectar carries one carbon signature. Corn syrup carries another. A machine called a mass spectrometer reads the difference instantly. If cheap corn syrup was blended in, the carbon ratio gave it away. For a while, this caught everything. Then fraudsters switched to rice syrup. Rice absorbs sunlight the same way flowers do. Its carbon signature looks almost identical to real honey. The carbon test went blind. Round 3. Molecular fingerprinting. The latest weapon works like facial recognition for chemistry. A machine sends a magnetic pulse through a honey sample and reads how every compound vibrates. It builds a complete molecular portrait and compares it against a database of thousands of verified honeys. Rice syrup may share a carbon signature, but its full portrait looks nothing like the real thing. Nothing fake does. Yet, but here is what matters most. This testing costs real money. Not every country requires it. Most of the honey on your shelf has never been scanned. The science exists. Whether anyone runs it before that jar reaches you is another question. But the risk to you goes beyond your wallet. When honey moves through unregulated channels, contaminants follow. Investigations have found imported honey containing chloramphenicol, an antibiotic banned in food production because it can cause fatal bone marrow damage. Other samples tested positive for heavy metals and pesticide residues above safety limits. You have no way to detect this at home. And there is a quieter danger. Every jar of cheap fake honey undercuts a real beekeeper. When beekeepers go bankrupt, hives disappear. When hives disappear, pollination collapses. Roughly 70% of the crops that feed you depend on bees. Here is where the story flips. You just learned that laboratories can catch fakes. Pollen passports, carbon fingerprints, molecular portraits. But in many countries, including the United States, there is no federal standard requiring those tests before honey reaches your shelf. The word pure on your jar has no legal definition. A product can be ultra-filtered, blended from 5 countries, and still carry that label without a single lab test. The science exists. Nobody is required to use it. So what can you actually do? Next time you reach for honey, one test and one price anchor. Flip the jar. If the label says blend, product of multiple countries, or packed in without naming where the honey was actually harvested, put it back. Honey that is proud of its origin tells you single source, named region, named beekeeper, if you are lucky. Price anchor. A 500-gram jar of genuine raw honey from a local beekeeper costs $8 to $15. If the supermarket jar is $3 for the same weight, the math does not work. Bees do not operate on discounts. That gap is your clearest signal. One more detail worth checking in your own kitchen. Crystallization is not spoilage. It is glucose-forming crystals naturally over time. A jar that stays perfectly clear and pourable for years has likely been ultra-filtered and processed. Real honey crystallizes. That is honey behaving like honey. The world sells more honey than bees can make. Now you know why that math never added up and what to look for when you shop. That is the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there is something you would like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.